Today we have Dr. Aashish Chaudhry with us, Managing Director, Aakash Healthcare. Okay, so being a doctor, how important do you think it is to keep oneself fit?
Keeping ourselves fit is not just the physical fitness, I believe. It has to be a holistic fitness, including mental as well as physical. So physical fitness obviously is very apparent from a distance. So, being physically fit is always a pleasure for yourself as well as for other people. I feel physical fitness is the key to move forward, to, keep doing your professional work and keep yourself confident to, carry out all activities. So it's one of the most important factors in my life. I have seen all phases in my life from absolutely unfit to, decent fitness level and now, progressing towards the best of fitness in my capacity.
So you look so fit yourself. What is it that you do for your fitness?
For my fitness, I, have a multifaceted approach. I basically maintain a fine balance between a lot of things. My work, my physical activity, work schedule, the diet. Most importantly, in today's world, it's very important to, take out time for some kind of activity. So, my focus is having at least 1 hour for myself and, get involved in a run or maybe a cardio session, or simply, doing something through which I can, shed out some sweat and feel confident. Apart from this, I try and maintain a good nutritional balance. I usually try have a good healthy breakfast and moderate lunch and very minimal dinner. So that's the protocol I'm following. And try and have at least 6 hours of sleep. So not just maintaining a good physical activity and a diet, you need a good sleep also to actually, feel fit during the day. So all these things actually contribute to the overall fitness.
Alright, so keeping your busy schedule in mind, what is the best and the most suitable time do you think it is suitable for working out?
So for working out, from my point of view, it is the early morning hours, because you should start with that fitness regime and then throughout the day, even if you end up getting stuck with your work or any other activity, you have done your fitness bit. So I have seen a lot of 24/7 fitness gyms coming up, giving, access to the working out facility even in the middle of the night. Fine, somebody who's has a job in, it's a reverse mode. If you're working in the night and sleeping during the day, that might be a good place for them. But most of the people are working during the day. So I feel the first thing in the morning, if you end up spending 1 hour on your fitness, and that can maintain your regularity also, because you never know during the day whether you will be able to go back to your gym or even in the night, if after a long heavy day, you might not have that much of energy to, spend on fitness. So start with that 1 hour, one golden hour for yourself, and then rest of the day, whatever you want to do, you do.
So alright, so for the youth, you have this one thing in your mind that, oh my God, it's a struggle getting up early in the morning. So what is it that keeps you motivated to get up in the morning and then work out
so
first?
Whether it is a young guy or it's a middle-aged person, for that matter, anyone, it is a task to get up early in the morning. Because especially if it's a Monday, Sundays and Saturdays you live around and you don't really feel like getting up early in the morning on Mondays, and even for that matter Sundays also. But that takes some time. That is the only difference between somebody who actually ends up doing these exercises and workouts regularly and somebody who keeps skipping and spending money on gym without actually utilizing it. So and the reinforcement only comes once you actually stick to the schedule for at least 4 to 5 weeks. That is the only time when you start seeing results. So that first 1 month is the most difficult time. I feel somebody who just, tries and overpowers his mental, this thing and have a good mental strength to carry on for a month without even, expecting too much of results. Because obviously somebody who starts with a physical regime, they start expecting results within few days. But one has to be mentally strong enough to wait for the right time. And once you start seeing reinforcement, people start noticing that you are getting slimmer, you are, feeling better, fitter. That is the time when you never want to leave it. I have seen so many people who could not resist the crave for junk food. Yeah. They only could manage it once they've actually crossed 1 or 2 months of, that self-restraint.
The goal is self-restraint, yeah.
So that's very important. Reinforcement would happen, and once that cycle sets in, so after the reinforcement, there is no looking back.
Yeah.
You know, so I can quote my own examples. I've never stuck to a gym for more than, say, 2 to 3 weeks. But this is the only time I stuck for more than 18 months. The only reinforcement, the first month was so regular, and I was determined that I will not leave even a single day. And once I got that reinforcement, so I've never looked back. So when I miss, it's the most depressing day of my week.
So what advice do you have for people who are busy in their corporate lives and are leaving fitness behind?
I have seen a sea of change in the kind of patients I see. 5 to 10 years back, I used to see all old patients with, the common problems in the old age. These days, I am seeing those same problems which I used to see in old patients in young patients now. And all those are corporate world people who they've never seen sunlight for months together. They have not exercised. They are into the system for 16 to 18 hours a day. They are having all kinds of cyber hub and junk food, and there's no exercise. So all these factors, I think they have contributed to the fast aging which the younger population is actually experiencing. So every time I see a patient, I always advise them. Take out 1 hour for yourself. Even, if I ask them to come back for some exercise, they say we come back at 10 o'clock, we leave by 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So, I advise them, change your job. For what you are doing. Ultimately, you are, spending at the cost of your health. And after 10 years, when you will earn a lot of money, then you spend in correcting your health. So, you're earning for your future health problems, and you're creating the health problem in that process. So, that corporate world is actually, obviously everybody is working for money, and, if they are paying a handsome salary, so they are extracting a lot of, work out of the people. So, initial few years, the body has got a great capacity, compensatory mechanisms. You carry on for many years, but one fine day, you will crash. So it's better to be, on a safer side, start adopting preventive methods, preventive means, rather than actually ending up feeling sorry.
Okay, so for people who are into running, what advice would you give in order to avoid injuries?
See, when I started running, there were a lot of things I read before I started running. So basic aim is obviously, you cannot expect too much from your body unless, you have done enough, work on it. So don't just start, 5 kilometers on day one. You have to go slow. You have to understand your own limitations in terms of your body weight, in terms of your strength, in terms of any other disability or problem you may have, in terms of your foot mechanics, in terms of your shoes also. So, there are so many things to be, looked at. You should have a proper pair of shoe. You should have, a proper tracks and everything. Even the clothing is important, and you should be doing enough amount of stretching before you go for your cardio or workout or even for a great run. Should maintain a good hydration level. The water intake is very important. Most of the people, they don't remember having more than 2 to 3 glasses a day, but they would remember all of the drinks they have during the day. So water intake is one important area. Most of the people end up having a lot of muscle cramps after the initial few days of exercise. Most of the time it is because of less water intake. So that hydration level is very important. Stretching is very important. Good diet during that time. So many a times when people start workout, they don't know that muscle is breaking while they are lifting weights. So they have to increase their protein intake also. But, they go back to the gym instructors and they ask from them. Many a times it has a commercial angle. So one has to be very careful in selecting, the right product and right thing for themselves. Some people end up using, heavy materials like steroids and other things to get a good shape, within a short span of time.
So do you support that?
No, I don't support that at all. And there have been a lot of, although there are that gives a lot of temptation because you see a person who has been using, there's a stark difference.
Yeah.
So, but that is a short-lived thing. Then you are actually on those, materials for a longer time and then you get addicted to it. So it's better to, try and achieve, aim for a fitness rather than, too much of muscle mass. So everybody wants a fitness level rather than, building onto the muscle.
Okay, so in the end, I would just like to ask you that what diet do you suggest in order to keep the bones strong, which is, I think, very important.
See, bone strength, I think from the diet point of view, if somebody is maintaining 2 servings of milk in a day, the milk or milk product, if somebody, Indian population is, intolerant to milk. They have got a lot of lactose intolerance. So people don't prefer having milk. So you can have a modified form. You can have cheese or paneer or, any other form of milk. But there has to be 2 servings in a day. Okay. If somebody is a non-vegetarian, they can, add on some egg white that also contains significant calcium. So that is one area everybody should focus on. There are so many reports which are coming, which sometimes refute that milk is not good for health. But if you, go back and read all the scientific data, there is an advantage. You get at least a good calcium intake, even if you end up having a skimmed milk, which is low in fat, but you get enough calcium. The other thing is the vitamin D, which everybody knows is, everybody is suffering from vitamin D deficiency because of lack of sunlight exposure. So these 2 components you get from your diet. So if you are maintaining a good milk intake, you are maintaining a good vitamin D intake, whether it's a natural source or it's a supplement of vitamin D, and along with the green vegetables. Somebody who's focusing on workout, they should have the protein intake demand is higher, almost like 1 gram per kg of the body weight. That's the ballpark figure. People should have that much of protein. If you are a non-vegetarian, then there is no problem. You can have chicken, boiled chicken, and low fat variety of chicken. And if you are a vegetarian, you can end up having soybean, and even there are some local proteins available. Famous old product, in Indian product called sattu.
Yeah.
That's very nice. That has got a very high content of protein. Okay. Unfortunately, Indian products we don't market, we don't brand it. But when it comes to whey protein from an American company, everybody is fond of buying that. But nobody focuses on Indian indigenous protein sources, which are very cheaper. Also, for Indian population, anything which is cost effective is very important. So I would rather promote these indigenous products.
All right. Thank you so much for your time and for feeding us with so much knowledge. I'm sure the viewers definitely gain something out of this. I mean, the information is so important. Thank you so very much.
My pleasure. I would end my talk here just by mentioning one thing, that running is one form of exercise which I think doesn't require too much of expensive equipment. Doesn't require specific environment.
You just need a track.
Just a track, or even if you cannot manage, you would have one park around your house, and you can maintain a good schedule of run there. So I would say that if nothing else, at least people can end up having a good run, 3 to 4 kilometers or 5 kilometers a day. That gives enough calorie burning to that person, and self-confidence also gets elevated. That I think even if throughout the day somebody is having a wrong diet also, they would compensate by doing that thing. And I have been in last few months I got chance to get associated with few marathons. In Dwarka we have got RunSync, and they have been doing a fantastic job in getting people aware about the importance of running, and even the kids are also coming, and the elderly also joining in. To their capacity they are giving their bit. So everybody slowly that thing of the concept of marathons and runs is catching up in India.
It's the new trend.
It's the new trend, although a lot of people, they come there to have a selfie. They are not bothered about the run, but anyways, they come and they get inspired. So first time they come, they will not run, but at least, they are thinking towards that fitness level. That's more important. So, all kudos to such organizations, and I wish them all the best. They would bring more and more people on board, and we have to have a healthier and happier India.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Keep listening to Radio Dwarka, a step towards tomorrow.